San Francisco.
Alright, you guys, this is episode 24 of Inner Demons. I know it's been a minute since I dropped the episode on Inner Demons, but I got you guys, man. You guys are getting a hat trick tonight. This is the third episode that I've dropped. I hit you with 2 war stories, and now you're getting an Inner Demons. Now, well, before I get into this, let me just say this, man. We're going to get all caught up tonight, man. So, you know, I'm going to start showing a lot more love to Inner Demons, man. Again, I know there's a lot of you that probably... you know, you might watch the war stories, but you might be more into the Inner Demons. So I'm gonna start giving Inner Demons some love and attention, man. I got you guys. But look, here's something else I wanted to cover with you guys real quick. I don't remember if I covered this in one of my earlier episodes of war stories that I did earlier today, but I just want to give you guys a little bit of game real quick. I'm gonna make a public service announcement, okay? And this is some exclusive shit. So check it out, man. On the real. A lot of you guys have been asking questions about Fresno. A lot of you guys are curious about how the rift, how it all happened, how Fresno broke off and separated themselves from the collective, from the rest of the Norteños. Sometimes you guys have asked about some of the iconic figures that have come out of Fresno, the legendary figures like Crackers Vindiola, and some of the others, man. I'm going to start giving you guys all that information. And just to let you guys know, man, straight up. And this is not no ploy. This is not no fucking, no way to get you guys to sign up for Patreon. But if you guys are not tapped into our Patreon, you might really want to think about getting it. I'm going to tell you why. So, I tapped into a treasure trove of fucking information about Fresno. Videos, county jail removals, assaults and stabbings, removals that happen on the streets, actual video of shit happening, stuff that happened in the county jail, stabbings, beat downs, homicides. I'm gonna give you guys a whole fucking treasure trove of content about Fresno, the Bulldogs. You guys are gonna get so much information, so much video, so much different stuff coming out of about Fresno that you guys are gonna be completely laced up on Fresno. Trust me on this, man. You know, the one thing, you know, for those of you that don't know, we can only put so much on YouTube. They got guidelines where they don't allow us to put graphic content on there. So whatever we can't play on YouTube, we're gonna put it on Patreon. I'm gonna start revamping the Patreon page and getting it up to where I want it. I haven't given Patreon any love lately either, man. So I'm serious. You guys really might want to think about it. But look, you guys are gonna get so much information about everything that's going on out there that you guys are gonna love PMN, man. I'm serious. Videos, recordings, pictures, removals, the videos of stabbings as they've happened, homicides. And it's not just going to be exclusively about the Bulldogs. You guys are going to get shit about the Fresniks, the Woods out there, some of the Africano gangs that are out there, man. The gangs out there, they're so convoluted. And these motherfuckers are active, man. They're super active. You're going to get all the internal politics, how they function, how they operate. Even the Sureño gangs that operate out there in the Fresno, Sanger, Ridley, all that whole area out there, man. You guys are going to get it all. Just trust me on that. Within the next 2 weeks, you're going to start getting that content. We're going to start putting it out. I'm going to go through what I can and can't show on YouTube, and we're just going to start giving it to you guys, man. It's something I'm looking forward to. You guys are gonna be hooked on this shit. Just believe me when I say that, man. So anyway, without further ado, let me stop pussyfooting and get straight to this next video, man. So, Inner Demons the last video on 23, basically I wrapped it up with the conversation I had with Eddie Roach and Dreamer about Duck. You know, I felt really I was really what's the word I'm looking for, man? I was passionate about Duck getting punished for what he did, man. I felt like he had an issue coming, and I really wanted to do something to that dude, man. You know, it was just what he did was a no-no. And if you guys have ever been locked up and you've had somebody do that to you while you're locked up at your, you know, one of your lowest points, when you're fucking in jail, in prison, and you're locked up, it's something that it'll drive you fucking ape shit. You know, I was so fucking frustrated and so pissed off at what Duck did, man, that I wanted to kill the dude. Like I said before, he's lucky I had like 3 months left to help me cool my jets. Because if I would have got out right when I found out, I probably would have done something bad to him. Something I would have regretted. Anyway, you guys already know the story. Duck is rest in peace. Duck, he's no longer with us. He ended up passing away. He ended up ODing. You know, that's. And have nothing to do with that. That's something that, you know, Duck was running around in the hood, strung out, fucking living that type of lifestyle, and that's what ended up happening to him, man. You know. Anyway, so I had the conversation with Eddie and Dreamer about, you know, the incident where I went down to Marlene's house with the pistol, and I was basically looking for him, and you know, he cried about it, man, and you know, after listening to Eddie and hearing him talk some sense into me about it, look, they, you know, they got kids, and she's probably gonna do the same thing to you that she done to him, and just let it go. And you know, at the end of the day, I let it go, man. I was like, fuck it, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna let it go, straight up. And you know, I still thought about trying to get Duck later on, but at that point, I think I would have ended up sabotaging myself. And I probably would have ended up getting in trouble. It had been addressed. Leadership had, you know, they knew about it, so I let it go. And you know, you can't just go around killing other hermanos either, man. It's a no-no, and it's red on red crime. So I let it go, man. I let it go. I feel like I got my justice back with Marlene, the way I clowned her. Lightweight almost got ducked, but he got lucky. He fucking slithered up out of that one. Anyway. So the next 2 weeks, I ended up staying out on parole, and eventually I'd end up back in on a violation. But you know, at that time, my mom was out there living she was on 12th in Market at I forget the name of the hotel, the Civic Center. She was living at the Civic Center Hotel on 12th and Market, and it was a cool hotel. It was an older hotel, but you know, the rooms, they had like a little kitchen. It was a small 1-bedroom studio like type of room with a fucking little small kitchen, and then you had a bathtub, a shower, and your little bathroom area and shit. So it was a cool little hotel. At that time, I didn't really have nothing going on, man. I just got out of prison. I just did my first bid, so I came home. I didn't really have nothing. I didn't really want to shack up with my son's mom at that point. I ended up kicking it with her. She was somebody that I was writing in the San Mateo County Jail. I ended up, and I'm just giving you guys this because this is part of the story. She ended up coming out and swooping me up once or twice. We ended up being together. It was just like a real quick type of drive-by, wham bam, thank you ma'am, and that was it. And as a result, she ended up getting pregnant. She ended up having my son. So, you know, that would come later, but during those you know, first couple weeks when I was out there, I didn't have a spot. So, you know, my mom, she was like, you know, you can come kick it and stay over here for a minute. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I even get you a room at the Civic Center for the first couple weeks while you're out, just to help you get on your feet. So she was looking out for me, man. I didn't have no resources. Nobody was out there. I wasn't with nobody at that time. So It's not like I had a spot to come out to. Anyway, so on this one particular night, man, that I was kicking it with my mom, and she still had a real unique relationship with my stepfather, man. And coming from broken families, I know some of you can probably relate to this. It's something that I used to see, but I just didn't speak on it because it was the way my mom had chose to live her life. And I felt like, on one hand, if I was too pushy about it, I was kind of intruding on her privacy. And on the other hand, if I didn't say nothing, I felt like I was in some ways I was failing her. But the thing is, she was with my stepfather, and they had like a different kind of relationship. Both of them were in and out of prison at different times. They cheated on each other, so there was some hard feelings between them. When I was younger, I was a kid. They were together. They got married. They lived together. But my stepfather went back on a violation. My mom ended up seeing somebody else. She had an affair with somebody. He found out about it, and they kind of separated. But they were still involved. They were involved all the way up until the last day my mom took her last breath. But they weren't living together. So, their relationship, man, it consisted of, my mom started to live like a hermit. She would sit in bed all day, smoke cigarettes. She was lonely. She lived by herself, and that's the type of life she would live. She stayed by herself. My stepfather no longer lived with her. He would be living with somebody else. He had another girlfriend that he ended up moving in with, and they were together. But during the day, he would come over to my mom's apartment, and they literally spend from, like, I don't know, 9 in the morning until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They would spend every day together like that. And they were still in somewhat of a relationship. And it was a weird relationship, man. It was almost like they did the same thing day in and day out. They had a routine. Stepfather would come to the house. He would get her, like, he'd go by McDonald's, get her coffee and whatever she used to, her little morning biscuits or whatever else she used to order. He'd come over. They'd shoot dope together. They'd sit there and, they listen to music. They just kick back, spend time together. They had a life, but they weren't living together. They used to still pay the bills together. They go on the internet, look at shit together, just spend time in each other's company. And it was just a weird kind of relationship, man. It was a relationship that was a lot different from what normal people are accustomed to. So, but my mom, she took responsibility for cheating on him, and she accepted that relationship. So, there were times where I wanted to speak up on it. I didn't like it, man. I didn't like that, she was living by herself. She was lonely. He had another girl, and all they would do is sit back, shoot dope, and that was what their relationship consisted of, man. But, because things were so tight, and because, neither one of them working a legitimate job, there would be times where they'd fall on hard times and they needed money for shit, man. And, I was the type of cat that if I found out my mom was struggling, or if I found out she was going through some type of issue, I'd want to take those problems away from her. And if she needed money, I'd go out and do whatever the fuck I had to do to get her money. She needed money for rent, to pay her bills. She wouldn't tell me about it because she knew what I would do. She knew that I'd go out and I'd take these type of penitentiary chances to do whatever I had to do to get it. If I had to go rob a bank, a store, whatever, man, I would go out and I would not come home that night until I got her whatever she needed. Anyway, on this one occasion, man, I'm at the apartment with her, and she was, I seen her crying, and I asked her, I'm like, why are you crying? What's the matter? And she broke down and she told me, she was like, son, she was like, man, we're struggling right now, and my rent's coming up, and we'll be okay, but it's like $600, man, and your father's, he's strapped with cash right now, and it's just rough, man. I'm just stressed out. There's just a lot of shit that's going on right now, and I was like, what do you need $600? And right when I said that, she was already like, you know what? That's not what I'm telling you. And she was like, stop. Don't go out and do nothing. I'm telling you, I'll be mad if you don't listen to me. If you go out and you do something stupid and you get in trouble, she goes, she goes, I'll never hate you, but I'm just not gonna like you. She was like, we'll deal with it. We'll be okay. And your father get the money. She was just like, it's just rough right now, man. There's a lot of shit going on. So I was like, all right. I was like, well, I'm gonna be back. I gotta go take care of something anyway. And she was like, so you're gonna go out and do it anyway? I just got through telling you, don't do that. You know what I mean? Don't do that. That's not why I told you. I should have never said nothing. I'm like, I'm not gonna go do nothing, man. And she was like, you weren't gonna leave until I said something. So anyway, I was just like, Mom, I'll be back. So I grabbed a beanie. Man, and I grabbed at that time I had an ice pick. It was a nice little ice pick that I used to carry at that time, man. I retired the box cutter for a minute, and I was carrying an ice pick. So when I left the apartment, I'm thinking to myself, man, I need to come up with $650, $700, however I do it, I need to come back with $700 before I come back to this apartment tonight. And $700 it's a nice little chunk of change, especially when you ain't. I wasn't slinging no dope. I didn't have nothing lined up. At that time too, I was supposed to be plugged into the regiment, but I wasn't. Or I was supposed to go out and establish a regiment, but I just didn't have any resources at that time. So I mean, it was basically, my regiment consisted of just me getting enough money together to send to my channel, and I kept my channel pacified. That's all it really consisted of. I had time. They gave me time to go out and build, so I wasn't tripping. It wasn't like I was under the gun that I had to build a regiment within 2 or 3 weeks. I was given hey, go out there, you're gonna break ground, you're gonna build, it's gonna take a minute, you're gonna have to go out there, do all the grunt work, and get your manpower, your resources, guns, all that shit. So they knew that I was treading lightly, man, and that it was gonna take some time. Anyway, so not having no resources, I left the hotel that night, and I ended up running to an Africano that I used to see at the hotel a lot. And I hit him up. I'm like, hey man, where I could hit a lick? And he was like, what you trying to do? I'm like, I just need to hit a lick, man. I need to come up. You know what I mean? I need some money, man. I need some bread. And he was like, matter of fact, I know where there's somebody right now with a pocket full of money that you can hit. He's like, they're two dudes. They're two white dudes. They're gay. I ain't trying to offend nobody, man. So I'm not gonna use no derogatory terms. But they're two gay cats. They're at the hotel up the street on Market in Valencia, at this hotel right there. And I know for a fact that one of them has a pocket full of money, at least, he's like at least $1,000, man. I seen it. I was just with them cats earlier. They scored some dope from some other dude that I was with. So I'm like, let's go, man. Take me to him. So when I left the hotel, like I said, I took a beanie with me. I had some black leather gloves that I used to put on whenever I used to go hit a lick or something like that, man. And I took my ice pick with me. So anyway, we get to the hotel, and this is like, this hotel is one of the rundown hotels in the Mission District. That's just like all the other hotels. It's run by Middle Eastern people that will allow you to, they'll allow you, this one in particular, they would allow you to rent a room for like, you know, a day with no ID or something like that. But they weren't letting people run amok in and out. The front gate stayed locked, and they were kind of selective about who they let come in and out of the hotel. It wasn't like the Star Hotel or the King that I told you guys about in some of my war stories. But it was one of those hotels. It had a lot of people in there that were shooting dope. There was a lot of dope fiend activity up in there. There were prostitutes running around. All this shit was going on in there, just like the others, man. Anyway, so when we got to the hotel, this Africano had been there before. This particular hotel, I had never been inside before. I knew it was there, and I knew people that used to stay there, but I had never been inside. So he rung the doorbell, and the cat buzzed us in. I threw my beanie on, and we walked up the stairs. Now, when we get up to the desk, the cat that was working behind the desk, he looked at me, he looked at the Africano, and he's like, "What's up, man?" He's looking at me like, this dude's up to no fucking good. I got a beanie on. I'm wearing some gloves. I think I had a long sleeve shirt, like a fucking what do you call it, man? What the fuck, man? One of those I can't even remember what the fuck it's called, man. Pendleton, man. Fuck. Anyway, I had a thermal on, a Pendleton, and I threw some gloves on. I had a beanie on. Anyway, so he looks at me and he's like, I know he's looking at me like this dude's up to no good. He just looks like he's fucking bad business. And he asked the Africano, "What's up, man? What do you want?" And the Africano's like, "Hey, I just need to go up and see one of my friends real quick, man." And he's like, "Who are you trying to see?" And he gave him a room number, and the dude was like, he was Larry, man. The Africano was, "Look, man, we're only gonna be for a few minutes. We're gonna come right back down. It's cool, man. You know what I'm saying? We're just gonna go up there, talk to him real quick." The dude was like, "All right, man, 10 minutes, man. 10 minutes, because we don't allow visitors over here." So we walked up the stairs, and we're on the second deck, and supposedly these dudes, it was like a 5-story hotel, and we're like on the 3rd floor or something, and they're supposed to be like on the 4th floor. But when we're walking down the hall, I guess for whatever reason they were on the third floor, because when the Africano walks by a door, the door opens and then it slams shut real quick. And the Africano turns around and he's like, he's in there, right? So it ended up being a bathroom. So the dude was in the bathroom doing something, smoking dope, shooting dope, I don't know. But he was in the bathroom doing something, and he probably opened up the door to leave and seen the Africano and just slammed the door shut and went back to doing whatever he was doing. So when he pointed, I'm like, "He's in there," and he's like, "Yeah, man, he's in there." So I pulled the ice pick out, and I walked over to the door, and I knocked on the door. And when I knocked on the door, I heard somebody say, "Hey, I'm in here right now. It's occupied." So I knock on the door again, and I tell him, "Hey, man, open the fucking door before I kick the door in." So he was like, "Fuck is this, man?" So I hear him, and I hear him fucking around with the lock. I had the ice pick out already. And when he opened up the door, I told him, "Hey, man, give me your fucking money. Give me your fucking money. I'm going to stab your fucking ass, man." And he's like, "What are you talking about, man? I ain't got no money." Dude had on a big ass, long leather trench jacket. Long ass leather trench jacket. And I told him, "Man, give me your fucking money or I'm going to stab you, man. I'm not going to tell you again." And he's like, "Dude, I ain't got no money, man. I don't got no money." So I just start wailing on this dude. I start plugging him with the ice pick. I'm hitting him in the arm. I'm hitting him in the fucking, I know I hit him in the stomach. I'm hitting him good, man. And the dude is facing, when I thought about it after I thought about this, but the dude was facing this way, which meant his heart was on this side, and I was stabbing him, and I was stabbing him in the side, I was stabbing him in the stomach, in the arm, you know. But if I'm gonna tell you guys like this, you know, this ain't Hollywood, man. When you're stabbing somebody like this, the ice pick, it seemed like the fucking leather jacket was hard to fucking puncture, because the first couple times I hit him, it was like the leather jacket stopped the ice pick from fucking going through his jacket. But so I started hitting him harder, man. I started hitting him harder, and I could feel it when it started going in. You know, the first time you stab somebody, it does something to you, man. It changes you. I remember the first time as a kid when I stabbed somebody and I felt the air leave the dude's body. I felt it, and it's almost like that situation, that incident, it changed me, man. I felt what it felt like to stab another human being, man, and I was a kid. But from that point on, it just got easier. Stabbing somebody, it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me to stab somebody. I learned, and I've said this before, man, but I learned how to suppress my conscience as a kid. You had to. You can't let shit like that bother you, man. If you sit there and you think about it, it's gonna fuck with you. I heard a lot of people over the years, but I never thought about it, and I did that on purpose, man, because if I thought about things, then it would bother me. So the way that I used to suppress my conscience is just by not thinking about it, by just completely blocking it out. Now, not today, right now, I can still revert back to the alter ego boxer. I can still be that guy if I need to be. I can still be violent. I still have all the fucking the things inside of me that made me that violent dude that I used to be. But I don't want to be that person no more. I have a conscience now. I'd rather, if I find a fucking bug in the house, I'd rather scoop his ass up and take him outside and throw him in the backyard somewhere before I would step on him and rub his little ass out, take him out of this existence. It's crazy, man, but it's the truth. Anyway, so I'm stabbing this dude. I'm hitting him hard with this fucking this ice pick, and he's starting to scream like a bitch, man. He starts screaming like a bitch, and he's like, okay, man. So he reaches in his pocket and he throws the money on the floor. He just threw it all over the floor, and I'm like, motherfucker, pick that money up, man. Pick it up. I didn't know if he's trying to fucking dude was trying to bamboozle me for me to bend down and pick it up while he fucking kicks me in the face or something. I don't know, but I made him get down and pick it up, and I knew that wasn't all he had. I told him, man, quit playing with me and give me the rest of the fucking money. I'm gonna hurt you, man. I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna start stabbing you again. And this dude was already leaking. Even though he had a leather jacket on, I could see his shirt. His jacket was open, and I could see the inside, the shirt that he was wearing under the jacket. It was starting to fucking it was starting to soak up blood. So I knew I had punctured the dude. So I tell the dude, man, quit playing with me and give me the rest of the fucking money. I'm gonna start stabbing you again, man. I'm not fucking playing with you. And the dude is acting like he ain't got no more money, man. And I almost start stabbing the dude again, and he reached, you know, I guess he could see it, man. He could see that I was serious. I wasn't fucking around with him. You know, the fact that my mom needed this money, it was something that I was dead ass serious about. Trying to get this money any kind of way that I had to get it, man. I was gonna get it, and you know, it was right there. So if I had to keep stabbing this dude to get his money, man, that's what I was gonna do. And I guess he seen the seriousness, man. He seen something, because he reached in his pocket and he was like, here, take it, just take it. So when I get the rest of the money, fucking, I booked down the hallway. I hit the corner. The Africano's behind me. This motherfucker wanted some of the money. He's right behind me, and when I hit the top of the stairs, I was moving so fast that I ended up just fucking falling down the stairs like a dumbass. Anyway, when I think about it, the fucking Middle Eastern cat that was working behind the desk, he probably said to himself, I knew that motherfucker was up to no good, because he's standing there at the window, and here I come rolling down the fucking stairs. I got an ice pick in my hand. I had the gloves on. I got a handful of money. And I jumped up, and then there was like another small flight of stairs, like 6 stairs, and then the front door was right there, and then the front gate. And I hit the gate, and I was running down Market Street. I took the beanie off, took the gloves off, started putting the money in my pocket. And the Africano was like, "Hey man," he was like, "Hey, let me get some, man. You know what I mean? Hook me up, man. I'm the one that led you I'm the one that led you to that cat, right?" And I ended up peeling him off like $200 real quick. And the fucking dude started to become a fucking nuisance. He's like, "Come on, man." He's like, that's it. Well, fuck, what do you mean that's it? You ain't done nothing, motherfucker. Bro, you got $200, man. Fucking go. Be happy with that shit. It's $200 more than you had 20 minutes ago. So take your money and go, man. So anyway, he splits. He's like, "All right, man. You know what I mean?" I go back to the hotel. I go in. My mom's in there, and I didn't realize it when I was at the hotel, and I was fucking taking this dude's shit, and I was stabbing him, but I had got blood all over my fucking again, I can't remember the fucking name of the fucking penalty, man. Something's wrong with my brain tonight. So, this is the first thing that my mom sees. She was like, "What the fuck did you go do?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about, man?" She's like, "What the fuck did you go and do? Who did you go and hurt?" And I'm like, "Man, you're tripping, man." And she's like, "You got fucking blood all over your shirt." And I looked at my shirt, and it's the first time I seen it, man. I was like, fuck, I had blood all over my sleeve. Anyway, she's like, "Take your shirt off, man." I'm like, "Mom, here." And I counted out. The dude had like $1,600, man. I counted it out. Here's your 600. Here's another 400. You guys are straight. You got your rent now. My mom started bawling. She started crying, and she was like, "Man, that's why I don't tell you." She was like, "I know it's the wrong thing for me to do, but thank you so much." And she got emotional, man. My mom, she knew that. I mean, we were close, man. We had a unique relationship. I know a lot of you guys, man, that grew up like I grew up, had probably the same kind of relationship with your mom. She was more like a homegirl to me, man. I mean, that was my mom, and I loved her, but she was like my homie, man. I don't like the word enabler, and I never will refer to her as that. But what I will say is, even when I was younger, she let me go and do my thing. What I used to do in the streets, she didn't like it, but she knew what I used to do, and she knew she couldn't stop me, so she let me do my thing, man. But a lot of times when I go out and I hit these robberies, these licks, burglaries, home invasions, whatever it was that I was doing, I'd actually break bread with her. I'd give her some of the money or some of the merchandise that I would end up coming up on, and that's the kind of relationship that we had, man. Yeah, so I'd probably end up staying out for about another week and a half. The other part that I was gonna get into, I want to detail it. I don't want to just run through it real quick. So, I just close this up by just telling you guys a little bit about, I would end up a little bit about what I was doing during like the last 2 weeks that I was out there. I told you guys this in one of my other episodes. I had a real fucked up parole officer back then, I was on high control parole. It was an Africano by the name of John Ascenso. Usually Africanos are cool, but this dude, man, he was cut from a different cloth, man. He was a punk. He used to he lied to me the one time where I caught the violation. He ended up telling me I was going to do 30 days, and I ended up doing 11 months. Man, I was pissed off. From that point on, I didn't trust that cat. We didn't get along after that. You know, I always blamed him for me missing the birth of my daughter, even though it was my fault. You know, at the end of the day, I made a choice to go out and get involved in criminal activity. So I can't blame nobody but my fucking self. But I still blamed him at that time. I wasn't looking at it the way I should have looked at it. Like, you know, if the birth of my daughter really meant that much to me, I should have straightened my fucking act up. At least got a job until she had the baby, and then I could have ran amok after. But, you know, I wasn't thinking like that at the time, man. So I want to say that I would end up catching a violation for, it wasn't that bottle that I went back on, because that would happen later. I believe that I went back on an association. They violated my parole for, as a matter of fact, I ended up catching a robbery. I caught a robbery, and I'm just gonna close it up with this robbery. So the night, probably about 2 or 3 weeks later, during that time, all I was doing was running amok, hitting licks. I tried to get a legitimate job at one point, but I couldn't do it, man. You know, I still had too much of that penitentiary fucking that mentality in me at that time. So, you know, I didn't want to do nothing but get fast money. I didn't want to work a fucking 8-hour job, slave over in a warehouse, you know, working for fucking peanuts, man. So I was hitting licks. I was taking chances, man. I was a two striker. And anyway, so this right here happened a couple weeks later. I'd end up being down in my neighborhood on 24th and Mission when I caught this robbery. I was running around with the cat from my hood named Rascal, Pete Zamora. I know he's on my IG. I know he taps into this channel. If you're watching, boy, tap in with me. If you're not, okay. But anyway, somehow, some way, he tapped into my IG. He's on my IG, so I imagine he probably watches these. Anyway, he was the type of dude that every time I would be out with him, we'd end up getting off with some Southsiders, or we'd end up getting into some shit. He was the type of fucking dude that'll always end up getting his head cracked, stabbed, beat over the head with the baseball bat. Like, when we were done, he'd always be like, damn, boy, you get fucked up. He's got stitches and scars everywhere. You know, he'll thump, but it seemed like he'd always catch a blade or get cracked upside the head. Something always would happen to him. Anyway, one night we're out there on 24th and Mission, and I go into a liquor store to buy a 40 ounce. And we had just, matter of fact, let me back up. We were with my daughter's mom and her friend, Nene. And we're on 24th and Cap. And some Southsiders had walked up. They walked up in no. One was walking down 24th. That's what happened. Okay, so they came after. Anyway, one was walking down 24th, and we seen him. He's probably just a paisa, to be honest with you guys. He was wearing some blue. We jammed him up. I had a 40 in my hand. I ended up fucking smacking him in the head with the 40, and the dude took off running. He took off running. About 15 minutes later, 4 cats came back. They had sticks and baseball bats and shit, man. And we ended up getting them up with these dudes right in the middle of the street. It was a 4-on-2. It happened like that. Luckily, one of them had a baseball bat. Luckily, Nena, my daughter's mom's friend, had a crutch. She had a crutch because she ended up breaking one of her fucking ankles. And when these dudes came running up on us, as this dude that I smacked with the bottle, I guess he ran down the street, and they lived right there somewhere, and got his boys, and they came back. So now the fight's on. I see one of them got a baseball bat, and this fool's running up on me with the baseball bat. So I grabbed the crutch from Nana, and now, you know, he's got the bat, I got the crutch, and we're going at it. Bah! 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 But the fucking crutch breaks after like the third time we're swinging. We're trying to hit each other. The crutch breaks. The crutch breaks. We continue to get off in the middle of the street until finally they backed up. You know what I mean? We squared up again. They were talking shit. You know, that's my fucking boy, and you know what I mean, that's fucked up that you did the little homie like that. And you know, bottom lines, they ended up leaving. They walked off. They fucking took their little candy asses on back down wherever they came from. I threw my 40 ounce, but the homie ended up getting busted in the head. He got his head cracked. So right after that is when there's a store right there. Man, and I remember another incident too that I just remember where we got into it when we were at that same store, and there was like 15 Southsiders. I'm gonna tell you guys this one later, but they came up, and luckily we ended up being able to close that front door, and the guy that worked in the store held the door shut with pulled some kind of lever and locked it, and there was like 15 of them on the other side, and they were trying to open that motherfucker, man. It was like what do you call that? What do you call that fucking Fort Knox up in that motherfucker, man? Straight up. But anyway, so after that incident we got into with those fools, they left. In that same store that I'm talking about right now, I remember a paisa went in to buy something, a fucking beer, a bottle of wine or something, pulled out a wad of fucking money, and that was it. It was over. I seen that wad of money, and when I came out the store, I told Rascal, hey, that motherfucker's got a fucking pocket full of money, a fat ass wad. So the paisa had walked out, and he was like, well, what's up, you want to get him? Let's get him. Of course I want to get him, man. So the paisa crossed the street. Rascal walked up, started advancing on the dude from this way. He crosses the street. I'm coming up from the backside, and we hit the dude at the same time. We hit him. So we're whooping this dude's ass. I end up taking the fucking money out of his pocket. I get the money. I grab a couple chains that he had around his fucking neck. Some paisa gold. Some fucking cheap ass paisa gold. Shit was soft as fuck and ended up turning my neck green. Right after that, we split. We ended up taking off, and 2 or 3, we were walking down Mission. No. We caught a cab. Thought everything was cool, man. We caught a cab, and we had the cab take us like 4 blocks down, drop us off, and we were nowhere near the area where we committed this robbery. But somehow, some way, this fucking paisa flagged the cops down, got in the back car, and was driving around in the Mission looking for us. They're driving way down where we had got dropped off. Nowhere around the area where we robbed this dude, but they fucking seen us, pulled up on us. We get arrested, man. Me and Rascal, both on parole. We end up getting took to the county jail and charged with fucking strong arm robbery, man. Long story short, the paisa don't want to press charges. Got some of his money back. I gave some to my daughter's mom. She put that shit away. He got some of his money back, decided he didn't want to press charges. San Francisco probably wasn't going to press charges on us anyway. They were probably just going to fucking kick us back to CDC, let them violate us, give us a parole violation, and be done with it. That's what they normally used to do. So that's basically what happened, man. When I pick up on episode 25, I'm gonna give you guys the whole rundown on what happens the first time I hit the bay, and then we're gonna get into all the gladiator type of shit. So it's gonna start heating up in a minute. It's your boy B. It's episode 25 of Inner Demons. You guys got that hat trick tonight? Hell yeah! I'm tired as a motherfucker. I'm gonna work on your Q&A, and I'm out.